evening, we bring you the latest in the world of sports. I'm Paulo Del Rosario.
We give you the conversations you want to hear from your favorite icons and athletes. I'm Diego Dario. And in tonight's Game Plan, we'll break down the DLSU Green Archers' historic win against their arch rivals, the Ateneo Blue Eagles.
We'll also list down the top weekend performers in the UAAP men's basketball tournament. And we'll do a rundown of the highlights from the PVL Reinforced Conference opening weekend. Buckle up, sports fans. Let's get in the game. After 5 long years, the DLSU Green Archers finally take a monumental victory over last year's finalists, the Ateneo Blue Eagles. Now, hindi naman ako excited. But joining us to talk more about the win is head coach Manong Derek Pumaren. Manong Derek, unang-una congratulations.
Coach, tumayo talaga si Pao para sa'yo. First time niya yun ginawa ever in this show.
Kamusta naman, Manong?
Okay naman.
Unang-una, Manong Derek, congratulations. First of all, it was going to be always a difficult battle against Ateneo. You talked about defense the entire time, especially the second, third, and fourth quarter, yung perimeter defending ninyo. Just what made it special after that first quarter, kung saan I think masasabi natin that it was below yung standards sa gusto mo?
Well, we were not able to do well defending at the perimeter no? First quarter, and we were able to regroup and we were able to do things to stop them, and then we came out strong at the start. I think with a couple of 3-point sets and we're back in the ball game.
And definitely, you guys played excellent defense from that second quarter to the fourth. But let's talk about the players, Coach. Let's start it off with Evan Nelly. He was out due to flu in their last game. And then he actually told me before the game na hindi pa siya sure kung makakalaro siya, kung papalaruin siya ni Coach Derek because he only had one practice before that game. Coach, what can you say about Evan Nelly's performance?
Well, Evan has been out since Tuesday, I think, and the only time he was able to practice was Saturday. That was the only practice. He was still doubtful, but I think he made some extra workout, and you have to give it to Evan. No? He had to push himself. He came ready. When his number was called, he was ready to play.
Coach Shawnee Winston, 25 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists. Grabing ginagawa niya ngayon. But then, compared to last season, it feels like there's another level of consistency, another level of comfort dito kay Shawnee in this particular team. Is there a reason why so? And can you tell us a bit about yung development niya dito para sa Green Archers?
I think he has adjusted the Filipino brand of play this season, and he is, I would say, taking more responsibility. No? He's the most senior player in our team right now, and I had a talk with him right before the ball game, last practice namin. Things I expected and things I wanted from him more.
And the whole season, this season 85, Shawnee Winston has been that calming presence. Even if he's scoring 20, 25, parang he's not scoring 25. And Coach, what can you say about his mindset when it comes to the leadership in this team?
Well, see, Sean is a different player. He's not the vocal type, yung leader na parang will talk, will do this.
Right.
He's more of he's letting his playing do the talking, and he's playing do the being a leader, and that's what he's been doing. It's the silent assassin for us.
Coach, a lot of people were talking about the history of this particular game. Siyempre, the last time LaSalle won was back in 2017. Does that ever play in your mindset going into a game like this? Kasi siyempre din naman, we all know how much we love Ateneo and the rivalry that we have with them.
Yeah, we really prepared for Ateneo. We know that it's a big game for us. As I told the players, we should give respect to Ateneo. We know that we're not playing an ordinary team, but we cannot be intimidated with them, and just think that we cannot do it and we cannot be able to match up with the team. So it's more of preparation and more of motivation for the players to be able to do and things.
And coach, after a big win like that, how are the emotions? I saw Ben Phillips, he was crying after the game, and a lot of emotion. Mike Phillips lost a tooth in that game. Kamusta naman yung emotions after that ball game, coach?
Well, I think that 2 days before Ateneo game, I wrote down on the board 2017 and 7, and I told them about this number. If they know this number, and told them that 2017 is the last time Lasal won against Ateneo, and the 7 said they've been kicking our ass for the last seven games. No? So it was more of a motivation. That's why when we finally won, and we got one finally, no?
Yeah.
And the emotion is really high. Hindi ko masabi kung ano mas maano ng mga nasa puso ng mga players. But we're really happy and excited about the win.
Coach, a lot of the biggest challenge normally after big wins is to manage yung emotions nyo, mentality nyo, and making sure that your mindset is right for the next game. Kasi syempre, emotionally, it won't necessarily be the same. Up next is against UE, a team that looks a lot better than what they did last season. Coach, how are you getting your guys ready for that one?
Well, I gave I warned them about it that this win means nothing if we lose to UE, and if we don't take our business on Wednesday. So let's be happy about it, but let's not be too happy about it, because this is not a championship game. We just won a game against Ateneo, and the season is still long. The season is still just starting, and we just have to be ready when we meet UE, because UE is a different team this season. And as you all know, that the last season we had a tough time with the UE.
Right.
Even our last game, when we played them in the elimination, we went into overtime. So we just have to be ready. We just have to be able to match up the energy, and we just have to treat them and respect them also. That we cannot keep it close. We cannot just be complacent, because we're gonna steal the game away from us.
Manong Derek, maraming salamat. Really appreciate you coming on the show and joining me in spreading the love for what happened for our LaSalle Green Archers. Maraming salamat. Good luck in your next game, Coach.
Thank you, coach.
Okay, thank you.
And we're not yet done with UAAP action, because after the break, we'll list down the top performers over the weekend in the UAAP Season 85 Men's Basketball Tournament. Stay tuned, you're watching The Game.
Okay, the UAAP basketball weekend saw big-time hoopers with standout stats and career-high performances. Now, helping us out to break down and list down the top weekend performers in the men's tournament is my partner, the guy who holds the record for most amount of UAAP games done in a day by a basketball analyst or anchor.
Probably the only UAAP record.
The only record that he has, Mr. Diego Dario. Diego, unang-una, what a great record. Thank you very much to Sir Pong for that one. And
Master Statsman.
the Master Statsman. And first of all, when you look at the list that you have, I just want to ask you, were you looking at? Was it just the numbers? What about their impact? What were you looking at when you decided on these four?
Right. Well, first of all, their team has to win for
Yeah.
them to be included in this list. That was one of my categories that I looked at. But also the impact that they had. The numbers might not be the best when you compare it to the other teammates in their team, but they had the most impact in that ball game this weekend. And that is why they belong in this list. And it's mostly guards, pal. Mostly guards.
So let us talk about your unbiased pick here from UP. Terrence Portea against FEU. His numbers over the weekend, career high, 17 points, 5 of 5, perfect from beyond the arc, 4 rebounds and 2 assists and 2 steals. Basically did everything in their win against FEU.
Well, with the absence of their lead point guard in Maymay Kagulangan, of course, the UP legend hitting that game winner last season, right? But Terrence Fortea has stepped up big time for the Fighting Maroons. He's embracing that starting PG role, but not trying to imitate or play the way that Kagulangan does. He's a natural scorer, and he shoots first. So that opens up passing opportunities for his teammates. Compare it to Kagulangan, who's a pass-first point guard, and eventually that opens up scoring opportunities for him. So very opposite, but very effective at the same time.
Of course, I feel the question would be is that if JD Kagulangan's there, of course, former
That's right.
Lasalle and
It's a
JD is
big
there.
question.
Yeah, how...
Sorry, by the way, Pao, that
It's okay.
JD had to
it's
move
okay.
to
He
UP.
won.
Yeah.
We're happy. So I think that's going to be a big question for Fortea when Kagulangan comes back. Moving on, Jerome Lastimosa for Adamson. Getting his shots up, 11.7 assists. I think the 7 assists were very interesting and a very good number considering na 0 turnover siya in 24 minutes.
That's right. That's why I chose him as the player of the game in that ball game and not his teammate who had 16 points. But, when you talk about Jerome Lastimosa, he had 11 points. The previous game, he had 25. That was against UP. But still, they got this dub against UE. Controlled that ball game for the Falcons like a true vet. He picked the defense apart, not just by scoring. Obviously, with the 7 assists, he made his teammates look good. And in the final minutes, when UE was trying to make that run in the fourth, it was the decision-making of Jerome that sealed the victory for them. And he just made everyone better. And it's very dangerous for a lot of teams when they go up against the Falcons and other people are knocking their shots down.
Do you think Adamson can continue winning games if their top scorer or typical top scorer is passing the ball instead of shooting?
Well, I think so, because number one, more points for everyone, harder to scout, harder to defend the soaring Falcons, but also that opens up more opportunities for Jerome himself because they will have to guard the other players of Adamson.
And the other side now, NU, Keen Baclan against UST, 16 points, career high, 7 assists, and 4 of 9 from beyond the arc. Of course, when you look at Keen's game, again, you combine his first 2 games, saka 15 points siya, pero dito against UST, for some reason, he likes playing against them, or like playing against them last time around 16.
Well, Kian Baclan, he played against his former team, UST, and then last minute, before the season started, he moved to NU. So he's very familiar with what UST does here, and it showed. First 8 points of the ball game belonged to Kian Baclan. He balled out, knocking down 2 triples to start off that game. And it was a confidence booster for him. From that point on, he just took control of that ball game, using his speed and ball screen skills, showing us what he has really been doing in the preseason, which we didn't see in the first 2 games of Kian.
You mentioned before that he wasn't necessarily comfortable yet with NU in the start of the season. It feels like he's comfortable right now, or at least based on what we saw against UST. And of course, moving on to Shawnee Winston, we talked about him a while ago.
Your guy. Can you call him your guy?
He's my guy. He's our guy, right? So 25 points, 10 of 21 from the field, shooting almost at 50%, ending a 5-year losing streak against Ateneo. And of course, when you have Shawnee Winston performing the way he's doing right now, we talked about consistency last
Right.
time around. Sabi ni Manong Derek that he's finally used to Philippine-style basketball. Do you feel that we're still just seeing a upward trajectory here for Shawnee here in the early days of the season?
Well, Shawnee has been huge. Coach Derek Pamarin mentioned it, but for me, he's the mid-range god. To all the analytics guys there who just wants 3 points and layups, Shawnee's proving you guys wrong. I mean, I'd take Shawnee Winston every time when he shoots that jumper. I'd take Shawnee Winston shooting a mid-range jumper than Pau Dalarsari putting up dad jokes in the show.
Oh, my
I know that's a
goodness.
high percentage here on the show, but mid-range Shawnee is also high percentage, especially this season 85. Look at those highlights. I mean, Shawnee, he's just calm, cool, collected, but he's a bucket.
Only thing higher than that probably is my free throw percentage. But anyway, you can catch more collegiate basketball action every Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday. Games are live on the UAAP Varsity Channel, One Sports, Signal Play, and Smart Giga Play. Of course, Diego, thank you very much for that list, but we're not done with you yet because after the break, we'll talk about some of the highlights from the opening weekend of the PVL Reinforced Conference. Stay tuned. You're watching The Game. Welcome back. You're watching The Game. The heart of volleyball is back, and the country's top volleyball teams are refreshed as ever for the Reinforced Conference. Now, let's break down the exciting highlights from the opening weekend. We have with us volleyball analyst Noreen Go, joining us via Zoom. Noreen, how are you doing?
Hi, Noreen.
I'm good. Hi. I miss going there, but it's one of those days where I can't make it.
It's all good.
No,
all
it's
good.
okay. It's okay. You know, next time you're here, we'll have you a bit longer. How's that? And we'll let them figure that out. Anyway, Noreen, let's get into what happened this weekend. Of course, it feels like ever since the pandemic restart a couple of conferences ago, that the quality has been rising and rising, and now with imports in, I feel like the quality of play is actually better in general right now. Can you tell us a bit about your thoughts over the weekend?
Well, I totally agree with what you're saying because, like us as volleyball analysts, as fans, we're just so excited that there are foreign guest players because you're right. No, the quality obviously will rise, the rallies will get longer, and what I was actually saying is we expect lesser straight set games and like 4 or 5 setters because all the other players will learn from the foreigners. So the quality will really just be up there.
And Noreen, you talked about the macro perspective of PVL in general, but who stood out for you when it comes to their performances in terms of individual performances this weekend?
Well, I'd like to mention the setters. I mean, it's a given already if we go through the foreign guest players because everyone played well.
Yeah.
We have our expectations, but pretty much everybody played well. So the focus really, is really on the setters because how they will get the foreign players to gel with the locals really is it will fall on their shoulders. So their decision making will be key. So we mentioned a lot of players. Michelle Cobb, Ivy Perez played well. D-Mac, of course, and Jel Cayuna. So these setters really doing a great job. And we look forward to really, as the tournament progresses, each team will get better. The rallies will be longer and, it'll just be fun to watch.
Yeah, you feel that for sure. Siyempre, when you look at all the setters, you mentioned that they all played well. But I want to focus on a couple of the imports that did come along. Let's start off with Signal, of course. Tay Bieria, with 20 points and 9 excellent digs. Of course, Signal has always been one of those teams, especially in the last few conferences, wherein they were pretty good, but then were not able to go beyond, I guess, what they wanted to in terms of podium finishes. With Tay on the floor with them, do you feel that she could make a big difference with this team? Is the fit good enough?
Oh, for sure. I always said like before the tournament, you don't envy the coaches and the coaching staff because there's so many foreign players we can get, but to find the right fit. So right now, it's really just trying to make sure that they practice well, they gel well, they bond well in and outside of the court. And Tay Bieria.
Yeah. We'll get there.
We'll get there. I mean, I had a game already, but I'm still practicing. But what I like about her is she's not so flashy. And it's really a good compliment to the team. So they're hoping that, her being consistent will help them get their podium finish finally.
And of course, another import that we're going to talk about here is someone who I'm going to spare Diego from mentioning the last name.
Thank you, I appreciate you.
Yeah, of course, from Russia, the import of PLDT, Elena Samyolenko, and 35 points in the debut. Sabi ni Coach Pascua that they don't want to burn her out, especially given we already know her firepower, what she can do. What did you see from her, and what can PLDT do to maximize her and make sure everyone around her gets better as well?
Well, I was pretty impressed aside from her versus D-Mac because at the start of the match, she was like having problems finding the right set for Elena. But obviously, they want, like you said, they want to maximize her, giving her sets at the pipe, getting her involved in any part of the court. And 30 points because slowly but surely she found her groove. And they don't want to tire her out, but what a performance.
Yeah.
And what really impressed me is aside from offense is she can defend. She is 6'5", but she can dig. So, I mean, we're really looking forward to the future games because she's really a powerhouse foreign player.
And talking about future games, let's talk about this new team in the PVL, Akari. What can you say about their opening day performance, Noreen?
Well, I said they have so much potential. It's really evident. You can see that.
Yeah.
I think Priscilla Rivera being, can I say motherly? But she's a veteran, obviously, one of the older foreign players. And I think it's a good fit because she's trying to guide the youngsters. And you can see that they have potential. I mean, you see flashes of brilliance throughout the game. And what you can say really is they're going to really just get better. I mean, Coach Jorge obviously trying to put in different sixes to see, and to give everyone a chance to get playing time. But I feel once he finds the right six, they're gonna be the dark horse of the league.
I absolutely agree with that. And of course, F2 coming back tomorrow against Cherry Tigo, and they are hoping that health availability is finally on their side and that they can do a lot better than they did last time around. Really quickly here, Noreen, do you feel that this F2 team is going to be completely different from the one we saw in their debut in the PBL?
I do. I really feel it. And one thing we're looking forward to is the F2 logistics team that actually, they're the champion team. They were champions before. They need to find their identity. They have to find their pride and bring it in court, because that's what I'm sure all of them, they miss that, plus their fans. And, given the foreign player and Kalei Mao, I think, is joining the team, and new ones like Ivy Laxina and so on. So it's a new team, but the core is intact, and they still have that championship experience that we're looking forward to seeing this continent.
Thank you, Noreen. Absolutely agree, especially with Lindsay Stalzer back. It's going to be good times, hopefully, for them based on their history in the past. Really appreciate you. Hopefully, you can be here in the studio next time.
Thanks, Noreen.
Thank you.
And you can catch the PVL Reinforced Conference on One Sports Plus, Signal Play, and Smart Gigaplay every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And thank you guys for joining us. I'm Diego Dario.
Catch us weeknights here on One News, One Sports, and One Sports Plus. I'm Paulo Del Rosario, and this has been The Game.